Hi, my beloved viewer. So I'm your teacher, Oben, and today we are learning Introduction to Computers, Lesson 3. And we want to talk about generations. Computer generations. And there is one fascinating thing about computers. They have been developing in stages, and that is what we are calling generations. Like the first computer that we had in existence didn't actually look like the computer that you have on the desk or the computers that we normally see. Did you know that the first computer could actually fit an entire room? Did you know that the first computer had no screen? It had no keyboard. It had no mouse. So that is why we want to go through the computer generations so that we can see where we came from and where we are actually headed to. Because the future is even amazing and great with AI technology, brain gates, nanotechnology, and much more. So let's start. We have the first generation of computers, and the first generation of computers existed around 1940 to around 1956. Computers used vacuum tubes to process data, and they also used magnetic drums for memory. For that reason, computers were extremely big, very big. A very good example of a computer that we had in the first generation, I'll show you a picture in the video, was called ENIAC, standing for Electronic Numeric Integrator and Calculator. And then after we got from that generation, we went into the second generation. And that was between the year 1957 and 1963. That is when a transistor was invented. When a transistor got into the market, computers became significantly small. And it actually allowed computer memory to even now improve because magnetic core technology had started being used. And that is about the second generation. We have the third generation of computers, and that was between 1964 and 1970. That is when an integrated circuit was invented. An integrated circuit is basically a silicon chip with very many components integrated within it. So during that generation, computers became significantly small, more portable, and computers had started getting a very wide application of use. And then from there, we have the fourth generation of computing. And that was from 1971 up to present. Computers started using the microprocessor, or basically the CPU, the central processing unit. And when this came into the market, there was a very big breakthrough in the world of ICT and computing. Because number one, computers became small. That is when we got real laptops, palm tops, tablets, and others because of the invention of the microprocessor. Do you know why it's called micro? Because I know you understand about microorganisms and micro. It basically means that the components inside the microprocessor, they are microscopic. Due to the microprocessor, like for example, the Intel Core i7, it's something maybe the size of what I'm showing you on my hand. And you know, it contains over 7 billion electronic components. The Pentium 4 processor, it normally contains over 45 million transistors or electronic components. So that is why we call it a microprocessor. And one of the greatest inventions that we got in the fourth generation, number one, we got the graphical user interface, something we call GUI, GUI, the graphical user interface. Initially, did you know that computers used a command line interface? It was very difficult to use and work with a computer. Unlike now, computers use a graphical user interface. A graphic is a picture on a computer. So a graphical user interface is an interface that uses pictures or images to represent commands. You want to close a program, you click on a small picture that has an X. That's a graphic. You want to open a program, you click a very beautiful small icon for that program. That is another graphic. So that is why we call that interface the graphical user interface, unlike the first interface that was command line interface and others that were menu-driven interfaces. We won't get much into details about that. So the next generation, that is a very interesting generation, is the fifth generation. Fifth generation, we say it's from present and future, basically because it's a generation that works on a technology we call artificial intelligence. Nowadays, you normally hear about ChatGPT, Gemini, DeepSeek, and others. So you see somebody on a photo and you hear people say that's AI. You see somebody on a video doing something, but they basically say that is AI. So what is this AI? AI is basically a technology that mimics the human intelligence. Number one, it's basically because they can learn. They can learn something new. They can also reason. Initially, computers didn't have that capability, but do you know that the computer you have now has got that capability? It can learn, it can reason just like a human being and also make decisions. That is where AI comes in. So we later, once we get into a topic like internet and emailing, we'll be exploring all these technologies. You'll understand what we call machine learning and AI, all as part of AI technology. So I'll be expounding that as we move on. And basically, that is the climax of computers, when computers start behaving and acting like human beings. And you know what? Currently, robots have even been designed, humanoid robots. Like, for example, go on Google and look for Sophia the robot. You'll see a humanoid robot that can talk, that can walk, that can smile. It's basically like a human being because it mimics a lot of human behavior and human intelligence. And even in your mobile phone, your smartphone, if you hold down the home key, we have the Google Assistant. It's basically AI powered. Anytime you get bored, you can just hold down the home icon in case you're using an Android phone, then the Google Assistant will pop out. You can talk to the Google Assistant. You can actually do so many things with it. So maybe let me try my Google Assistant that is powered by AI technology, fifth generation technology, so that you can understand what I'm talking about. So let me see if my Google Assistant will pop on the screen. Uh, Good afternoon, my AI assistant.
Good afternoon. How can I help you today?
Not really. I'm just having a lesson and I'm trying to explain to my students about the fifth generation of computers. So, do you have anything that you can tell us about computer generations and especially the fifth generation?
This is a great topic. The generations of computers track the major changes in hardware technology, which led to vastly different capabilities. The 5 generations of computers: generation, approximate period, key hardware component, core breakthrough, first, 1940s to 1950s, vacuum tubes, basic electronic computation, second, 1950s to 1960s, transistors, smaller, faster, and more reliable. Third, 1960s to 1970s, integrated circuits, ICs, size reduction, led to mini computers. Fourth, 1970s, present.
Wow. So let's forget about that, my dear viewer. I'm very sure that's very interesting. So what you just need to do on your Android phone, just hold down this key, the home key here. You hold down the home key to activate the AI or the Google Assistant. And these are some of the products of the fifth generation, the generation of artificial intelligence. We expect so many, much more things on AI. And as we move on, and especially as we get into the package that we call internet and emailing, I'll be introducing you to all these things. You'll be able to work with Gemini, generate images. You'll be able to work with a DeepSeek to generate code and do so much more. You'll be able to work with ChatGPT to analyze documents, create CVs, create application letters. So make sure that you follow all these tutorials up to the end, because at the end of the basic computer or digital literacy program, you will actually have learned a lot. You'll actually be a computer expert, let me say. So make sure that you follow to the end. This was the lesson for today about computer generations. Just to remind you, Make sure that you subscribe so that you don't miss other such lessons anytime I post. Another, if you love my video, just make sure that you give me a thumbs up, just like the video. And in case you'd want to enroll to our program so that we examine you, and then at the end of the day, we give you a certificate at the end of the course, make sure that you go to our website, www.obexictcenter.com, do your registration there. You'll be able to handle exams online. We'll also even be able to give you practical exams online. And then from there, at the end of the course, we'll be able to issue with a valid certificate that can help you in doing your job applications. Thank you so much. I was your teacher, Obed. I hope you enjoyed the lesson. See you in the next lesson, and we'll be talking about the categories of computers. See you next.
Yeah, Obex online niko tayari kwa simu yako ama kompyuta, ka nyumbani au kwa cyber, tunasema elimu sio barrier.